So my name's Alec Dutch. I'm the lead developer at ThirdPixel Interactive, and we're making the game Smack Studio.
Yeah, my name is David Kimball, and I'm the head of marketing at ThirdPixel Interactive. And yeah, we're making Smack Studio.
We are fighting game enthusiasts. So he started with Melee. I loved Smash 64, and then played the entire series. We wanted to make that concept, but with custom content.
Yeah.
So Smack Studio is like Super Smash Brothers in terms of how it plays, but players can make all the content of the game.
Yep.
Characters. Soon we're going to launch a stage editor, and everything can be shared online.
If you think about it, making custom content is kind of a dream for every fighting game player. They always thought, this game is great, but what if they had this person, or what if they had my custom character or whatever? So Smack basically makes it as accessible as possible to make characters. And in fact, you can even export those characters for games like Mugen, for other fighting games if you want.
Yeah, and one of our goals is to help support other developers and artists.
Yeah.
So, like David said, you can export things. We have indie developers that are using the tools for their own games. We're hoping to see some of those games released at some point in the next few years and provide whatever help we can.
Yep.
It's amazing to see it come to fruition. We love seeing people come and play the game. We've got a setup for 8 players to be able to play here. Sometimes those players are us.
Yeah, because we can't stop playing the game, honestly. But also, it's also fun when people come and they literally make their own characters at the convention, and they sometimes they spend way more time than you think. They come back the next day, they come back the next day, then they're done, and then they get to actually play them and with all the people that are here, which is pretty cool.
There's not a whole lot that you cannot do. Well, the goal is to make it not only accessible, but as flexible as possible. But for players that are newer to animation, you can use a template and you can have something that's playable immediately. And then from there, you can build on it. You can reskin the template, or you can import, full custom sprite sheets if you have your own art that you'd like to use. You can draw in-game. You can animate in-game using either frame by frame or a new technique that lets you take a 2D image and rotate it like it's 3D. And maybe we'll get some footage of that later, just showing how that looks. But
yeah.
Frame by frame takes a long time, which is one of the things that can be a barrier to entry for newer players.
Yeah.
The goal with the 3D rotation is to make it so anybody can do it.
Yep.
Anyone that wants to create can focus on the parts of that character creation that are important to them,
yeah.
Not necessarily have to draw every frame.
Yeah. But also on top of that, for experienced artists, if you like frame by frame, what you can do is do an initial frame, an initial animation, then actually edit frame by frame and polish it to get it looking exactly how you want. So it's really like the best of both worlds. It's as flexible as you need it to be, basically.
We're hoping for end of year for our 1.0 launch.
Yep.
So we're shooting for December. You never know for sure on game development projects,
right.
But we're going to try to keep that timeline.
Yep.
While that's happening, we have players, both professional artists and casuals, that are making stuff and releasing it on Steam Workshop.
Yeah.
So we have about 500 custom characters right now that are playable. I think it's about trying to realize the dream of not only making a game that speaks to us, but that every player can use for what they want. Giving players the ability to create their own dreams and their own, whatever their imagination is, whatever type of fighter they want to make. Eventually it's going to be whatever stage they want to make, and we'll try to continue to branch out to really let people unleash their imagination.
Yeah, what's funny is we're at PAX 2023 right now, and I actually met Alec at PAX 2021. He had his booth. It was a rough alpha, but I sat down, I was like, this game feels amazing, and it's barely an alpha. And then I looked to my left and I was like, wait, you can make your own characters? So then he's like, well, we need a marketing person. I said, hey, I need a job. Let's work together.
Yeah,
that's how it started.
How it worked out.
Yeah. When development gets really crazy, there's a lot of intense emotions, especially when you feel so strongly about the game. And one thing that Alec mentioned earlier is you have kind of these two audiences. You've got the artists and you've got the competitive players, and both are very particular about different things.
Yeah.
So we've had to really figure out, okay, who's our target audience? How can we make both audiences happy? And I think so far we've struck a pretty much miraculous balance.
Yeah. And as we design stages, we're looking at having a balance of more neutral stages, balance for competitive play, but also more eccentric, wacky stages for casual players.
Yep.
Or for creatives. But at the end of the day, we want to make the tools the focus so that once the game is released, players can choose whatever they want to use it for.
Exactly.
It really lets us hit both of those demographics.
Yeah, we might have an opinion on what the neutral stages are or what the best characters are, but players will ultimately make what they want to make, and they'll basically set their own rules. So we're fully expecting that.
We'll have to figure something out in terms of how to balance things
with
custom characters for competitive. We know we can balance the base roster, so we may have 2 different queues for online play. One competitive, one casual. Long term, it'd be great to find a way to balance it so that players can basically vote whether something is balanced or not.
Right.
Or have their own brackets. So there are some ways that we're looking at.
Yeah, and like responsiveness is really important for us. So we actually are developing rollback netcode for all the competitive nerds out there. It's like really fast online, basically.
Yeah.
So if you want to try and do a playtest, we're going to open that really soon. So join our Discord if you want to be part of that.
We have 8 players, local multiplayer right now. For online, the goal is to get to 8. We know we can do at least 4. We're currently testing to make sure that it continues to be stable and doesn't have, bugs as you increase the number of players.
Yeah.
But the more the merrier, we say. So we'll see what we can do.
We want to be the game that has 8-player online rollback if it's humanly possible. We want to be that game.
We're going to start with the PC launch because for the character editor, it's nice to have a mouse. It'll take some additional time in development to branch out, but we'd love to do a Switch release in the future. We'd love to look at Xbox and PlayStation, maybe even mobile ports.
Yeah.
We don't know for sure what the future will bring.
Yeah, there is demand for it for sure. It's just a matter of when you're a really scrappy indie team, how do you prioritize the right things?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But
for anyone that is interested in console ports, if you can, support us, help us spread the word.
Yeah.
Having more eyes on the project increases the chance that we can partner with publishers or other studios to be able to expand and make that possible.
SmackStudio.com, fastest place. That's links to all our stuff. We're on Steam. Just search Smack Studio, and yeah, we're on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. We're on TikTok and YouTube as well.